she never knew that the ghost haunting her was actually her twin sister, seeking revenge for a tragic death hidden in the past. The movie begins by showing a young couple named Mark and Jezebel preparing to move into a new house. They start packing up all their belongings and loading them into the car. Jezebel, who is pregnant with Mark's child, looks overjoyed about their new beginning. After everything is packed and secured, they set off toward their new home. However, fate has a different plan. On the way, they are involved in a tragic accident that takes Mark's life. Jezebel, in critical condition, is rushed to the hospital for emergency treatment. Sadly, the crash also causes her to lose her unborn baby. On top of that, Jezebel suffers severe injuries, a fractured skull, broken ribs, and a damaged spine, forcing her to undergo a series of long and painful surgeries. Her recovery process is slow and difficult. 2 months later, Jezebel finally recovers enough to leave the hospital, although she now relies on a wheelchair to move around. A nurse informs her that a physical therapist will soon be assigned to help with her rehabilitation, so she can walk again. The nurse also suggests Jezebel contact her family since she's now well enough to go home. With a heavy heart, Jezebel explains that she doesn't have much family left. Her mother, Kate, died of cancer when she was a baby, and her father, Leon, has been absent from her life ever since. After her mother's death, Leon entrusted Jezebel to her aunt, and they never saw each other again. A few years ago, her aunt also passed away, leaving Leon as her only remaining family member. Though hesitant, Jezebel decides to call Leon. To her surprise, he answers warmly and agrees to pick her up from the hospital. When they arrive at Leon's house, he carefully helps his daughter inside, making sure she's comfortable after all she's been through. Leon expresses his condolences for the tragic death of Jezebel's boyfriend. The house has only one bedroom on the ground floor, with the rest upstairs. Given Jezebel's condition, she cannot stay upstairs. Reluctantly, Leon reopens a room that has long been sealed off behind a large wardrobe.
Thanks for...
It used to belong to Jezebel's late mother. He had closed it years ago to preserve his wife's memory.
Your aunt passed away.
That night, Jezebel spends her first night in her mother's old room. As she tries to close her eyes and rest, the silence in the room suddenly changes. For a brief moment, she notices the shadow of a woman sitting in her wheelchair. The next morning, after waking up, Jezebel notices several of her mother's belongings still kept neatly in the room. At one point, she accidentally drops a small object that rolls under the bed.
Thank you, Mom.
When she tries to retrieve it, she instead finds an old box with her name written on it. Curious, she opens the box and discovers 4 videotapes recorded by her mother when she was still alive. Jezebel plays the first tape, dated March 14, 1988, in which her mother, Kate, made a special birthday message for Jezebel's 18th birthday. In the video, Kate lovingly wishes her daughter a happy birthday, hoping this message would reach her when she turns 18. Before recording the message, Kate had asked Leon to give the tapes to Jezebel on her 18th birthday. However, as Jezebel watches the video, she becomes confused as to why her father never fulfilled her mother's last request. It is also revealed that when Kate recorded the video, she was 7 months pregnant with Jezebel. Most likely, by the time Jezebel is watching it, her mother has already passed away from cancer. The video was made as a keepsake for Jezebel. Besides wishing her a happy birthday, Kate also performs a tarot card reading for her daughter. In the reading, Kate reveals that Jezebel is not alone in the house. There is another presence with her. Jezebel, deeply focused on her mother's words, is suddenly startled by Leon's arrival.
Oh, Jesus, Dad! No, Dad! No!
He looks furious and demands to know where she found the recording. His anger leaves Jezebel confused, not understanding why her father forbids her from hearing her late mother's final messages. Trembling, Jezebel explains that she found the tape in her mother's room. Overcome with rage, Leon destroys the videotape right in front of her eyes. Jezebel is unable to comprehend the reason behind his outburst. The situation worsens when Leon violently takes Jezebel's wheelchair and throws it into the lake. As night falls, Jezebel, trying to sleep, experiences another terrifying nightmare in which she sees a mysterious figure standing near her bed. The nightmare jolts her awake. When she opens her eyes, her gaze falls upon an old wheelchair that once belonged to her mother when she was ill. The next morning, Leon, sitting in the dining room, apologizes to Jezebel for his behavior the previous day. He admits he had been drunk and lost control of his emotions. He then asks again whether Jezebel found any other tapes. Jezebel lies, saying that was the only one she discovered.
I was out in the shed. Found that one tape.
After Leon leaves with a friend, Jezebel notices something strange, a faint flickering light near the edge of the lake. Curious and wanting to know more, she decides to watch the second tape. The second recording, dated April 5th, 1988, was made 3 weeks after the first. In the video, Kate appears more anxious than before, speaking with a serious tone. She explains that strange occurrences have started happening in the house. Kate says she sought answers from a man named Moses, a church friend she knew from Jerry's Creek. Moses, who had deep knowledge of spiritual matters, warned Kate that there was an unusual energy surrounding their home and advised her to be cautious. He was also the one who taught Kate how to read tarot cards, which she used to better understand what was truly going on. In this second reading, made especially for Jezebel, Kate reveals something that sends chills down her spine. She feels the presence of 2 female spirits in their home, and both of them are Jezebel. Kate warns that this presence carries an important message that must not be ignored. She also cautions that Jezebel will often experience terrible nightmares. Jezebel is left shocked and confused. How could her mother have known that she has indeed been plagued by horrifying dreams lately?
Hello, Jezebel. You've been having nightmares, right?
The next day, a physical therapist named Rosora, assigned by the hospital, arrives at Jezebel's home to assist with her rehabilitation process. Rosora is specifically appointed to help Jezebel regain her ability to walk. During their first session, Rosora advises Jezebel to take a hot bath to ease the tension in her stiff joints caused by the accident. However, when Rosora leaves Jezebel alone in the bathroom, something terrifying happens. Jezebel suddenly experiences a nightmare in which she is attacked by her own reflection. Fortunately, her screams are heard by Leon, who rushes in and finds his daughter trembling in fear. Overcome with anger, Leon blames Rosora for leaving Jezebel unattended. Refusing to listen to any explanation, he immediately throws Rosora out of the house. Realizing that Jezebel's nightmares and growing fear are somehow connected to the videotapes she had been watching, Leon begins searching her room to find any remaining tapes she might have hidden. After discovering the rest of them inside the closet, he decides to burn all the remaining tapes, hoping to free Jezebel from the terrifying nightmares that continue to torment her. He firmly tells Jezebel that the woman in those recordings is no longer her mother. Leon explains that when Kate was 5 months pregnant, doctors found cancer in her brain. Kate refused chemotherapy because she feared it might harm the baby she was carrying. As a result, the disease slowly began to take over her mind. The cancer destroyed not only her body, but also her peace of mind, turning her into someone unrecognizable. Leon hopes that by destroying the tapes, he can protect Jezebel from the dark influence of the haunting memories that linger in their home. However, his actions only spark more questions within Jezebel. She feels that her father is hiding the truth about her mother, and her curiosity about her family's past grows even stronger. Leon heads to the shed to get gasoline and matches, determined to burn all the tapes once and for all. But a tragic accident occurs. A spark from the match ignites the gasoline, causing the fire to spread rapidly. The door suddenly slams shut, trapping Leon inside as the flames engulf the shed. Helpless and unable to walk, Jezebel can only watch in horror as her father burns to death before her eyes. During Leon's funeral, Jezebel meets her former high school friend Preston, who expresses his condolences for her loss. But as they talk, Jezebel's eyes fixate on a man covered in severe burn scars, and the sight causes her to faint.
It's really good to see you, Preston.
That was a really stupid question.
When she regains consciousness, she finds herself back home with Preston by her side. Since Preston has been there all night, he worries that his wife, Sam, might start looking for him, and he prepares to leave. However, Jezebel stops him, insisting that she has something troubling she needs to share. Preston agrees and takes her to a nearby restaurant, hoping that being outside the house might help her relax.
Foster just got back from Afghanistan. Well, you know, it is a big giant hole.
There, Jezebel confides that she has been having recurring nightmares about a woman who tries to chase and kill her. The dreams feel so real that she fears if she keeps them to herself any longer, she might lose her sanity. Hearing Jezebel's story, Preston tries to stay positive, suggesting that everything she's been experiencing might simply be due to her recovery process. But Jezebel immediately denies it. According to her, all the nightmares began after she watched the videotapes her mother recorded years ago. Driven by curiosity, Preston decides to watch the tapes together with her. After seeing the messages and tarot readings delivered by Kate, Preston becomes convinced that the readings themselves may have subconsciously instilled fear and anxiety in Jezebel's mind. He then firmly tells her not to watch the tapes again. As Preston keeps receiving messages from his wife, Sam, asking him to come home, he reluctantly leaves Jezebel alone. Before leaving, he gives her his spare phone so she can contact him anytime.
Things that were wrong. It's my work cell. It's got my home phone number.
Shortly after Preston's departure, Jezebel once again notices something flickering at the edge of the lake. As night falls, still feeling curious, she decides to play the third videotape. The footage, dated December 24, 1987, shows Leon and Kate hosting a Christmas party, celebrating with their friends. In the video, they joyfully announce that Kate is pregnant with their first child. Mrs. Davis, the family's longtime cook who has been with them for years and is considered part of the family, is the first to congratulate them on the pregnancy. After that tape ends, Jezebel plays the fourth one, showing Kate in deep sorrow as she performs another tarot reading. This time, the reading reveals that Jezebel is already dead. Confused by what her mother means, Jezebel suddenly experiences a series of supernatural disturbances. When a mirror in the room shatters, she discovers one more hidden tape, seemingly concealed by her father to keep her from watching it. Terrified by all the strange events, Jezebel decides not to play the final recording. The next morning, while relaxing by the lake, Jezebel is surprised when Preston shows up just to check on her well-being. As they sit together by the water, both of their eyes are drawn to the same mysterious flickering light at the edge of the lake. Intrigued, they take a small boat and row toward it.
But why would they put it on our land?
Upon reaching the spot, they are stunned to find an object that appears to be some kind of magical or ritual artifact. Alongside it, they also discover a bunch of fresh flowers and an old, weathered doll.
There's something down there.
When Preston examines the flowers more closely, he recalls that such offerings are often used to mark graves. Growing uneasy, he clears away the vines and bushes nearby, and to their shock, they uncover a hidden gravestone bearing the name Jezebel, along with a date of death, June 12, 1988. Even more shocking, the date on the tombstone is also Jezebel's birthday. Confused, they both assume that perhaps Jezebel once had a twin sister with the same name who died at birth. Overcome with curiosity, Jezebel pleads with Preston to dig up the grave to uncover the truth. Beneath the soil, they find a small coffin, and when it's opened, they are horrified to see fragile infant bones inside. Stunned by the discovery, Jezebel and Preston immediately contact the authorities to report what they found and request an autopsy on the remains. They hope the examination will reveal the identity of the buried child. Soon after, forensic officers arrive to collect DNA samples from Jezebel and from Leon, who recently died in the tragic fire. The purpose is to determine whether the remains belong to Jezebel's possible twin sibling, a child of Leon and Kate. Since her parents never mentioned that she had a twin, the discovery leaves Jezebel both confused and desperate for answers about who the baby truly was. After the samples are taken, the medical team informs them that the autopsy results will be available within the next few days. Not wanting Jezebel to stay alone after their horrifying discovery, Preston invites her to spend the night at his house. However, his wife, Sam, clearly looks displeased by Jezebel's presence.
We don't have an extra room. I hope the couch is okay for you.
Okay. Yeah.
The next morning, Jezebel asks Preston to accompany her to visit Mrs. Davis, the longtime family cook who had worked for her parents for many years. Jezebel hopes the elderly woman can provide some answers to the mysteries that remain unsolved. When they arrive at Mrs. Davis's home, they find her sitting silently, staring blankly into space. But the moment Jezebel introduces herself, Mrs. Davis's expression changes drastically, as if memories of something terrible from the past have resurfaced.
There's someone else here to see you. This is Jesse.
Jezebel.
Miss Davis.
Mrs. Davis mentions a man named Moses and his church in the Jerry's Creek area, hinting that Moses once played a very significant role in Jezebel's family, though she doesn't explain why. Hearing this, Jezebel and Preston head straight to the church at Jerry's Creek, hoping to uncover more clues about the growing mystery.
She said tell Moses.
Upon arriving, they discover what seems to be a place used for rituals. On a table, they find a photograph of a man, Moses, the same black man mentioned earlier, with an inscription showing that he died on June 12, 1988, the exact same date as Jezebel's birthday. Jezebel is deeply confused by the connection between her birth date and Moses's death. Suddenly, a group of people appear and angrily order them to leave the area. Realizing something is seriously wrong about the past surrounding Jezebel's family and home, Preston insists that they pack up her belongings and move out immediately. He urges Jezebel to stay with him and Sam for a while until things settle down. As Jezebel packs her things, Preston waits for her in the car, but out of nowhere, a ghostly figure attacks him, knocking him unconscious. Unable to walk fast enough to help, Jezebel can do nothing but call the police. When the officers arrive, they assure her that Preston is alive but needs to be taken to the hospital for observation. Before they leave, Jezebel asks them to call her once Preston regains consciousness.
I don't know what the hell is going on around here.
Please call me when you know he's all right.
After the police depart, Jezebel attempts to confront the spirit haunting her, desperately asking who it is and what it wants from her.
Who are you? What do you want from me?
The entity remains silent and unseen. Suddenly, her phone rings. It's the police, informing her that Preston has woken up. Though weak, Preston refuses to stay in the hospital and asks the officers to drive him back to Jezebel's house. The police also bring shocking news. The DNA results from the baby's remains have come back. The bones belong to a black female infant, and there's something unusual about Leon's DNA. Before Jezebel can make sense of what that means, the television suddenly turns on by itself, as if the unseen presence wants her to watch the final videotape she had been avoiding.
Medic said you should rest, but he wanted your boyfriend to come too. He seems all right. I thought you'd...
Trembling, Jezebel plays the last tape. The long-hidden truth finally comes to light. The black infant buried under the gravestone marked Jezebel was not her twin. She was Kate's biological daughter, born from an illicit affair with Moses, the black man from Jerry's Creek. When the baby was born, Kate named her Jezebel. However, the moment Leon saw the baby's dark skin, he immediately realized she was not his child. Consumed by rage upon discovering Kate's betrayal, Leon went to Moses' home and murdered him in cold blood. It didn't end there. In his desperate attempt to cover up Kate's affair, Leon went even further. He brutally murdered the black baby. In cold blood, he pushed the baby's carriage into the lake to erase every trace of what had happened. After the baby's death, it didn't take long for Leon to adopt a white infant girl and give her the name Jezebel, using the exact same birth date as Kate and Moses' child. He did this to conceal his crime and to make it seem as though nothing had ever happened. Following the adoption, Kate, consumed by grief and guilt over the loss of her real child, decided to take her own life. But before committing suicide, she prepared a dark ritual taught to her by Moses, a ritual of vengeance designed to ensure that the spirit of her black baby would never truly leave this world. Through this ritual, the spirit of the black Jezebel would return again and again to the white Jezebel, and when the time came, the spirit would take over her body as retribution for what Leon had done. After placing this curse, Kate ended her life by shooting herself in the head. Leon later staged the scene to make it appear as though Kate had died from cancer. Since he had no desire to care for Jezebel, who wasn't his biological child, he left her in the custody of his sister. Following the deaths of Moses, Kate, and the black baby, the congregation at Jerry's Creek Church held a ceremony to honor them, burying the baby properly according to their traditions. When Jezebel finally learns the horrifying truth that she is an adopted child and that her real counterpart was murdered, the spirits of Kate and Moses suddenly appear. They bind Jezebel's hands to her wheelchair. The time has come. Kate and Moses' spirits are there to help the black Jezebel's spirit take full control of Jezebel's living body. After years of waiting, the spirits are finally ready to exchange Jezebel's soul with that of the black Jezebel. The two spirits begin pushing her wheelchair toward the lake, the very same spot where Leon drowned the black baby. That is where the soul exchange will take place, just as Kate had planned. As Jezebel's wheelchair slowly rolls toward the water, Preston arrives with the police. Moments after Jezebel plunges into the lake, the spirit of the black Jezebel emerges and begins the ritual of possession. The exchange happens swiftly, and unaware of what has truly occurred, Preston rushes to rescue the body he believes to be Jezebel. But the Jezebel he saves is no longer the same. Now, inhabited by the spirit of the black Jezebel, she opens her eyes and kisses Preston. Holding her in his arms, Preston has no idea that the woman he has just saved is someone entirely different, not the Jezebel he once knew. And with that chilling revelation, the story comes to an end.